Hello and welcome. I am Exit Light and this is my channel. Tonight we're going to talk about some horrifying crimes that were not only horrifying but also were committed on the scariest night of the year, Halloween. So, without further ado, let's get into these. Number 1. 55-year-old Ladell Peoples lived on the Chicago South Side in 2011. He was mad. Somebody had stolen his Halloween candy, and he had narrowed it down to his girlfriend, 49-year-old Maria Adams. A fight ensued. Maria picked up a plate and threw it at him like a frisbee. She knocked him pretty good in the head. Got a decent-sized gash right above his eyebrow. Ladell wasn't having it and picked up a knife and stabbed her multiple times until she was dead. Number 2. Back in 1957, a man named Peter Fabiano, who lived in Los Angeles, was having some marriage problems with his wife, Betty. That led her to leave him briefly for a woman whose name was Joanne Rabel. Eventually, Peter and Betty reconciled and she moved back in with her husband. But Joanne was upset. Some say Joanne was consumed with jealousy. So, she called a friend of hers, as women will do. And this woman's name was Goldine Pizer. The two of them got together and they decided that they were going to kill Peter Fabiano, and that there was no better night to do it than on Halloween. Because what other night of the year can you knock on a person's home wearing a mask and have them answer? So, they put Pizer in a costume of red gloves, face paint, and a mask. The two of them sat out in front of Fabiano's house for 2 hours. They were waiting for the lights in the bedroom to be turned off. Now, some of you might say that people don't trick-or-treat that late. But let me tell you, I wasn't trick-or-treating in 1957. However, when I was trick-or-treating, we stayed out till 11 o'clock at night. Did we want to? No. Did our parents want us to? Yes. So we did. And I lived somewhere where it snowed on Halloween. So it's likely that this could be a real scenario. So the bedroom lights go off. Pizer walked up to the house and rang the doorbell. Peter answered, thinking that it was a late trick-or-treater. And when he did, Goldine Pizer shot him in the chest, dead, with a .38 caliber gun. Something tells me, though, that Betty and Joanne probably didn't get back together after that. Number 3. Once upon a time, there was a preacher. He was named John Dee White, and he was the preacher of a small Michigan church. Before that, he'd served 2 separate prison terms, one for stabbing a woman and another for murdering another woman. My guess is there was no background check. John, when he wasn't killing women or pastoring a small Michigan church, lived in a trailer park. He became romantically involved with a woman who lived a few trailers down, and he would frequently babysit the woman's 3-year-old grandson. Then, on Halloween night in 2012, while the 3-year-old boy was asleep in the trailer, White knocked the boy's mother out with a rubber mallet, strangled her to death with plastic zip ties. Then he stuffed her body into a garbage bag and went and dumped her in the woods. After that, he did his babysitting duties, got the boy dressed up for Halloween, and the boy's father came to pick him up. After being arrested for murder, White told police that the crime was part of a lingering fantasy to have a relationship with a corpse, but that he'd forgot whether or not he completed that act. Oops. I can't remember. It's possible. Moving on. Number 4. Jeremy Jones was a drifter and a self-proclaimed ladies' man who was raised in Oklahoma but somehow managed to end up in Georgia. Eventually, he befriended a woman who allowed him to stay with her at her home. On Halloween night in 2012, he did the makeup on this woman's 12-year-old son and his best friend. They dressed up as Ace Frehley and Gene Simmons from the rock group Kiss. After Jeremy was done, he went to a popular tavern in Douglasville, Georgia, where he spotted a woman wearing a Betty Boop costume. He followed her out of the tavern and stabbed her to death in the parking lot. Why? Well, we don't know. I think that's enough for the day. How about you? Thank you for coming to my channel. If you are not already subscribed and you would like to be, please go ahead and subscribe. If you like these type of videos, go ahead and click a thumbs up. If you'd like to be notified when my content goes live, go ahead and click that bell. And if you consider supporting this channel through Patreon, I would appreciate that very much. I will leave the link below.